how to go from 30% body fat to 15% body fat, even if you have an unorthodox work schedule. For visual representation, this is what 30% body fat looks like. At this body fat percentage level, no doubt you feel sluggish, you have a lot of brain fog, and you're not motivated to do anything. But when you get to 15% body fat level, this is the level that's more sustainable year round. In fact, it really don't take that much effort to maintain 15% body fat. At this level, you're gonna feel more confident and you're gonna have more energy to do the daily tasks, whether that's at work or with your family. So if you wanna know how to go from 30% body fat to 15% body fat, this is the only video that you're ever gonna need. So let's lock in. The first step that we need to know is how long is it gonna take for us to accomplish our journey of getting to 15% body fat? Well, in that example, we need to know how much pounds of body fat do we wanna lose? For this example, let's say you wanna lose 30 pounds of body fat. That's your goal. If you lose 30 pounds of body fat, that would make you feel great about yourself. Well, how long is that gonna take? Well, we take 30 pounds and we multiply that number by 3,500 calories. That's how many calories is in a pound of fat. So 30 multiplied by 3,500, that gives us 105,000 calories of what we need to be in a deficit in to lose 30 pounds. So now that we know that we need to be in a deficit of 105,000 calories, we could say that we want to lose 2 pounds per week of body fat. So now we said that 3,500 calories is in 1 pound. So we multiply that by 2 pounds per week. That gives us 7,000 calorie deficit every single week. So now we take 105,000 calories, which represents 30 pounds of body fat, and then we divide that by 7,000 calories every week, which is 2 pounds of body fat. And that roughly gives us about a little over 3 months, 3 to 4 months that it's gonna take for us to lose this body fat. Now you could take any number. If you got 40 pounds, 50 pounds, take that number, multiply it by 35, and then you divide that by 7,000, and that's gonna give you how many weeks it's gonna take for you to reach your goal if you stay on course. Okay, now that we know how many calories that we need to burn, now it's time for us to dial in our macronutrients. Now, macronutrients is important. And if you're serious, this video is only for if you're serious, because a lot of people wanna lose weight, but if they just losing weight, that's not the goal. We wanna lose body fat. So body fat is primarily what we want to focus on. We don't really want to lose muscle. We want to hold on to muscle. In order to help us accomplish that, we need to focus on our macronutrients. Remember this, calories determine how much weight you lose, macros determine what you look like, and then micros determine how you feel. If you don't remember anything else, remember that. So macros determine what we look like. We want to focus on that and be in a deficit. So now you need to identify your body type. Are you an ectomorph? Are you a mesomorph? Are you an endomorph? And according to one of these body types, now you have a base guideline of what percentage of protein, fats, and carbs you need to take in. So that's going to give us a rough baseline of what we need to structure our meals around every single day. All right, once we know that, okay, you identify as an ectomorph, an endomorph, a mesomorph, now we got that baseline. So now we need to know how many grams are in protein, how many grams are in carbs, and how many grams are in fat. But to keep it simple, protein and carbohydrates, they're the same. They have 4 grams for the carbohydrates and for protein. For fat, it's gonna be 9 grams for fat. So now we need to see, we wanna build our meals around protein. And really, if you can just structure your meals around 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight, not the current weight you are, that could give you a rough baseline of how much you need to eat. So if you weigh 250 pounds currently, but you wanna weigh 200 pounds, try to aim for 1 gram per pound of body weight. So that's 200 grams of protein every single day, if you can accomplish it. So once you have 200 grams into your formula, your protein is taken care of. Now you need to build for your carbohydrates and build for your fat. All right, so let's really break this down of how you can do this. So in this example, we identified our body type and we see that it needs to be 30% protein, 40% carbs, 30% fats. So we already broke down exactly how many calories are in protein per gram, how many calories are in carbohydrates per gram, which is the same, which is 4. And then you have 9 calories per gram in fat. So now we need to calculate the calories and multiply by our body weight. So if we want to lose weight, we go back to that chart to see what number do we multiply it by. And this chart is going to be anywhere from 10 to 12. That puts us in a deficit. So now we take our goal body weight and we multiply it by 12. So if we want to weigh 200 pounds, we take 200 pounds and multiply it by 12. That gives us 2,400 calories. Now we know we cannot eat over 2,400 calories if we want to burn fat. Now that we have our ceiling, so to speak, we know we cannot go over 2,400 calories. Now we need to dial in our macronutrients. Now, the ratios, we take 2,400 calories because we know that's our ceiling, and we multiply it by 30% protein. Same thing with the carbohydrates. You multiply it by, or actually the same thing with the fats in this example. You multiply it by 30. So you're going to get 720 calories for your protein and for your fat. Now for your carbs, you're going to have 40%. And that's going to multiply by 2,400. That's 960 calories. Once you add all these together, this should give you 2,400 calories. This is a balanced nutrition plate. This gives you a baseline of how many carbohydrates you should be eating, how much protein you should be eating. And if you eat this way, you're going to look phenomenal. If you made it this far, you're serious about losing body fat. So if you're serious about losing body fat, this channel is for you. Hit the subscribe button to make sure that you do not miss out on any other content. All right, let's get back to the video. And really, a firefighter that I work with, he did this exact thing. When you think of firemen, you think of most firemen being in shape. And that is true to a certain degree when they're preparing for the academy, when they're in the academy. But once we get out of the academy, let me tell you, the cooking that we do at the firehouse is out of this world. There's some of the best cooks there. So one of these firemen, he was pretty obese, he was overweight, and he made it his purpose to focus on his macronutrients. Not only how many calories he was taking in, but his macronutrients to see what he looks like to help him look his best version possible as he loses weight. Well, he began to lose the weight, and I love what he did. When he started to lose the weight, when he lost 10 pounds, he would walk up, in this particular scenario, it was Stone Mountain in Georgia, if you're familiar with that mountain. He would lose 10 pounds, so he would have a 5-pound dumbbell in this hand and a 5-pound dumbbell in this hand, and he would walk up the mountain. And the mountain was about a 1-mile elevation. So it would take him 1 mile, he would get up there, and he would say, man, just 10 pounds, you didn't think it was that much, but it was a struggle for him. So the next 10 pounds he lost, it was 20 pounds total. He would have a 10-pound dumbbell in his left and a 10-pound dumbbell in his right, and he would walk up the mountain just to signify to his brain, this is how much body fat I was carrying, and I don't want to ever be in this situation again. So once he dialed it in, he had a night and day transformation. This man was super vascular. He had muscle on his frame. And before, when you saw him, he filled out. He didn't have no definition, no lines. His face was just filled out. His body was filled out, but he started to take his health seriously. And he was someone who went from 30% body fat even down to like 12% body fat. And it took him about 6 months to 8 months to really dial it in. So if you're looking to dial in your body fat, use this formula that's really gonna help you. See how long it's gonna take you, and that gives you a goal to aim for. It gives you a destination to aim for. And of course, all the other stuff, such as strength training, that's gonna help. But if you just focus on your macronutrients, you can get to 15% body fat even without doing some crazy workout that you saw on social media. You can just do calisthenics, and really calisthenics is great because it's your own body weight. Focus on your macronutrients, see what your formula is for you. And if you need help dialing in your specific formula, reach out to me because I can help you get that together very easily so you're going about it on the right path. And if you're someone who says, I don't want to calculate my macros, I don't want to reach out to you, I will. Well, I have another video that talks about how you can still lose body fat without tracking your calories. And I suggest that you watch it because it's so easy and it allows our body to burn body fat just on autopilot. So if you found value in this video, please subscribe to the channel, leave me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.